Hey guys, welcome back to the Harmonix Show. It's been a few weeks since we've done a real show.
Yeah.
We did kind of a show last week, but there was no audio, so we're not going to count that.
Yeah.
But we are back for some exciting news. We brought John Drake back from the road just for this show.
I took a red eye last night, and I slept in my office from 6 o'clock to 9 o'clock.
Did you ever find your sock?
I lost one of my socks, so I'm currently not wearing any socks.
Sleeping hard, the John Drake story.
I took some pills. Girl.
So this is going to be a great show. Drake's all NyQuil'd up. We're here to talk about the recently announced Amplitude Kickstarter. Recently announced as of this morning.
What time
Like
is it now?
4 hours
It was
ago?
like 5 hours ago.
Yeah.
And in 5 hours, we are overwhelmed that we've had almost 3,000 people help us make this project.
Yeah.
That 3,000 people have joined our Kickstarter.
Thank you guys.
Yeah, it's super rad. I'm assuming that whoever's moderating the chat is frequently dropping the Kickstarter link in there, and people will be sent there.
If only we had some kind of graphic that we could display on stream to encourage people.
I did it.
All right.
Hey.
So if you have not already backed,
Shot
or if
two.
you have backed and you would like to back more, you can just hit up the links below. You can go and you can back this awesome revival of a PS2 era Harmonix title.
I want to start by just acknowledging thank you to Abby for making the graphic that we have, and also Abby and Christine for setting up the auto forward from harmonixmusic.com/amplitude to go directly to the Kickstarter page. So if you don't want to type in a whole bunch of stuff or even Google it, because that would take way too long, type harmonixmusic.com/amplitude and you should be auto forwarded right to our Kickstarter page where you can back it. And we are watching the numbers over there.
We can see if you're backing or not.
We can see.
We're watching and waiting for you.
We're paying attention.
We'll wait. No, we won't. We'll start the show.
No, we won't. Okay. So to kick the show off, we wanted to show the awesome video that you guys made. I don't know if you are on camera, so we do know who you are.
Why don't we finish?
You guys introduce yourselves, and then we'll show the video.
I'm Annette. I do this all the time.
Yeah, you know who.
All the Fantasia stuff.
But Annette, you've been, in addition to being our Fantasia demo lead and also product manager, you're going to be the product manager on Amplitude, as is the current plan.
That is the most nervous face I've ever seen.
So no pressure. But if we could get to 100,000 by the end of this show, that would look real good.
I feel like this is the NPR drive we've been waiting for all day. It's like, with your dollars today.
This is like we wanted to do a telethon.
We've been talking a lot about doing a telethon, and I haven't written it off just yet.
No, I'm
We'll
still
wait and
into
see
the
where we're
idea.
at by the end of the week.
Dude, at that Thursday, Friday, I will do a 48-hour telethon going into that Friday.
We'll set up a bank of tables.
Yes.
We'll have some rotary
Skype
phones.
in some guests.
I will be messed up.
It's going to be awesome.
You could fit some bands in here, maybe some karaoke sessions.
Some acoustic stuff?
Like right here, yeah.
Just the Pardo Brothers playing for 30 hours.
Comic stand-up.
Yeah, just
Yes.
Casey Malone.
Yes.
On the mic.
He's free.
He's got nothing to do.
He's right down the street. He's
He's making a video game.
It'll be awesome.
But yeah.
So that's Annette.
Yeah.
Now this is Ryan. Ryan, who are you, Ryan?
I'm Ryan Lesser. I'm the art director at Harmonix, and I am the game lead for this project. I'll be doing all the creative leadership for the game, and been helping out on the Kickstarter, obviously, and I'll be up there for the next 3 weeks. or
So we're never sleeping again.
And also, the best part about this is that you'll now get to see three of us awkwardly in a video right now that's not us on this video that you're watching.
Pope's in it too, though.
Pope's
so.
also in it.
Yes.
But you know who's going to cue the
Bonus.
video, though? Eric Pope.
Yes, he also wrote the beginning of this video piece.
It's
so
his fault.
we hope you enjoy it.
So, Pope,
Instant classic.
roll that video, Pope. You already did it.
Hey Pope, what's going on the internet today?
Oh, hey. A lot of hyperbole, actually. Heavier amount than usual.
Okay, well, thanks for nothing.
Oh, there was
as
this one
usual.
thread I've been meaning to read by Dumplord420. It looks like he wants us to do an Amplitude game.
Dumplord?
Dumplord, yeah. Oh, he's a good poster.
Okay, I'll go see what Alex thinks.
Cool.
Hey, Alex. People on the internet are asking if we want to make another Amplitude. Is that a good idea? Thumbs up, thumbs down?
Yeah, that's fine if the fans are behind it.
If the fans are behind it, maybe we should do it on Kickstarter. Could finally get Tim Schafer off our backs.
You know, whatever, John.
Okay.
I am the Dump Lord. Hey everyone, I'm Alex Rigopoulos.
And I'm Iran Ngozi.
And we are the co-founders of Harmonix. Harmonix is an independent game development studio that's based in Cambridge, Mass. And we are game developers by trade, but our hearts and souls have always been in music.
We've worked on a lot of games over the years. Many of you probably know us from our work on Dance Central or Rock Band or Guitar Hero.
And right now, we're hard at work on a bunch of totally new and different music gameplay experiences, including Chroma and Fantasia Music Evolved.
But we've been eager to return to our roots for a while and to develop a next-gen controller-based rhythm game. And so we want to put a team together at Harmonix to make another Amplitude.
Amplitude was the game that Harmonix made for Sony for the PlayStation 2. Before we strapped plastic guitars to you, or asked you to stand up and dance in front of your TV, we sent players shooting down 6 tracks, beat-matching gems with their beat blasters.
By matching the short musical patterns on screen, players could lock in loops, move between tracks, and layer a song together, instrument by instrument. The game's soundtrack had an electronic bent, which matched the futuristic visuals on screen for an altogether badass experience.
Amplitude and its predecessor, Frequency, were lauded by critics, loved by fans, and really fun to play. There was a great solo mode, and there was a frenetic multiplayer where friends could compete to see who had the best handle on a song while messing with their competition along the way. We want to bring all of that back.
We've come a long way as a studio and as an industry since then. We think this type of addictive, synesthetic, audio-visual experience is perfect for modern consoles, widescreen HD TVs, and killer sound systems. That's why we want to bring Amplitude to the PlayStation 3 and PlayStation 4. This update of the game will feature gorgeous visuals running at 60 frames a second, an amazing soundtrack, and snappy, responsive controls that gamers have come to expect. We'll distribute it digitally and be able to give you access to DLC to expand your game. We want to recreate all the things that made Amplitude a classic back in 2003, but up-resed, updated, and upgraded for today's gamers.
We love Kickstarter. A bunch of us, Alex and myself, have backed Kickstarter projects.
You may wonder why we've decided to kickstart Amplitude. The truth is, it's expensive and challenging to run an independent studio of our size. Usually, passion projects like Amplitude end up on the back burner while bigger, fully funded projects take up studio bandwidth. That's why we're turning to you. We're passionate about this game, we think it deserves to get made, and with your help, we can secure development resources for Amplitude and pursue this dream project.
There are all kinds of great rewards. Most importantly, you can get the game for PS4 or PS3. You can also get access to in-game exclusives, cool physical goods, and other perks.
If you back the higher tiers, you can help decide what songs go in the game, grab a meal with our founders, or even fly to the studio and hang out with the Amplitude game developers.
We know that we can make this game. Even though it's 10 years later, many of the same developers who made the original Amplitude a success are still at Harmonix, full of 10 years of experience and ready to make it great. We appreciate you taking the time to check out Amplitude. We're excited to get to work, to engage with you guys throughout the development of the title, and to update this classic for next-gen consoles. Please consider backing today and telling your friends. Thanks.
So that's like a pretty professional video.
I know, right? It's like a real person made it.
Made by real people for a real game, which is not at all like the things that we've usually been doing.
Look at where we are.
Right?
We have 2
Look at where we
cameras
are.
now. This is
I know,
a
and I don't know
professional
where
stream.
to look anymore. But
Well,
I'll look at you.
Did you take a screenshot? What was that? So the I got peripheral vision, Pope. You can't trick me.
You will fool me every
thing I was
time.
gonna say is I want to thank Ben Harrison, who also shoots the Engadget show and some of those episodes, who came up here and helped shoot that video and edit it. He did a really great job, and I want to thank Eric Pope for not chiming in on a thread until the day before the shoot. And then suddenly being like, oh, I do have a good comedy sketch. We should put a little comedy at the top of the video. And then we had to scramble like idiots for 8 hours, and we got it done.
It was solid input, though.
It worked
It's a
out pretty
great
well.
scene.
It was pretty funny, I thought.
Yeah.
Dump Lord
Yeah,
420.
and you got the Dump Lord on board.
Yeah, man.
That's no joke.
Like I was saying, instant classic.
The Dump Lord on board is like the worst Baby on Board remix I've ever heard. A barbershop quartet song I've ever heard.
People love the Dump Lord, though. Lots
Do
of
they?
requests for a Dump Lord t-shirt.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Yep, someone secure the Dump Lord Twitter
Maybe we can
account.
get a Dump Lord.
Yeah, Dumplord420 on Twitter.
Dump
He's
Lord
already
has to be
following
has
us.
to be the boss enemy in the game.
Yes,
Dump Lord.
Yeah.
yes, most definitely.
That's definitely fine. It's like it's a little gross sounding, but it's not actually graphic or gross at all. Anyway, so
Sorry.
breaking down that video, there's some fun, weird things in that video.
Yeah, give him a little peek behind the curtain.
So Ryan was shot in what we call the Scribble Ball room, which is a
The Scribble Ball.
That's what we call it.
Yeah.
It's a playtest room that has graffiti on the wall. We let people who go in there just write whatever they want on the walls.
Encourage employees
Yeah,
and playtesters to just kind of like mark it up.
Yeah.
That went back to, I think, Rock Band 1, I think, when we got into this space and we just had a bunch of rooms here that were pretty sterile and boring, and we just wanted to kind of, class them up.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's sort of back green room, rock show, nightclub kind of thing. We just threw a bunch of markers
Where like a
back
venue
there.
just doesn't even care because they're like, whatever, you idiots are going to
it's fine.
scroll over these walls anyway. We may as well make it a thing.
So that's kind of like our little corner of CBGBs here in the office.
Yeah, but
and
it's
our
awesome. It's
otherwise
got-
Asian studies library for Harvard.
Yeah.
So I didn't actually see that shot. I was out like doing something else during that shot, and I guess framed behind you in giant letters was the word swallow.
Yep.
Which isn't again. It's like that is a verb. I've done it multiple times during this Kickstarter. Right? I had to swallow because
It
I've been
didn't
drinking
quite
liquid.
seem like the right message to be
No.
sending
So
during
we
a
see.
Kickstarter.
So they CG blurted out.
Yeah, because they filmed the whole thing and it was really great. And they're like, "Oh, we just noticed it says swallow. Is that going to be a problem?" We're like, "Nah."
So if that was us making the video by ourselves, we would have just left.
We wouldn't have noticed.
So again, good.
I was looking the wrong direction. I was looking
fine.
forward.
Well, I mean, you saw Nick Chester try to point, and he it's a challenging thing to be a
Directions are hard.
There's the word swallow.
swallow.
But yeah, anyway.
So anyway, yeah, making that video was really fun, and I think hopefully it's charming. We currently, as I'm looking at the Kickstarter page, which you can get to by going to harmonixmusic.com/amplitude. We are at 2,999
Who's gonna be 3,000?
backers. Go be the 3,000th backer today, guys. There will be literally no prize awarded for that. But we will.
All
but
of
you'll
our
get the
undying
game
love and respect.
if you back it at that level.
That's true.
I make no
Let's see
promises.
if we do
Special
it.
prize.
I can't even.
So yeah, Aaron, what's going on? What are we gonna do? On
I
the
think
stream?
we should play some of this game. I think the video gave people a good indication of why we want to do a remake.
Yeah.
But I think it would be cool if we showed some of the original.
As Pope is saying in the earbuds, let's play some Tude.
Oh, okay.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Play some
Let's
Tude.
tune it up.
Do you have earbuds?
Yeah, I have a
Nice.
ICP in my ear.
Insane Clown Posse?
Yep, I have ICP in my ear.
So that's a microphone. You can't play this game with a microphone in it. This is PS2
Yeah, thanks,
game.
Free and Green. Thank you for backing it. So we're going back to the main menu. So we'll say the game is going to be on PlayStation 3, PlayStation 4.
Yep.
That's the Kickstarter. If we reach our funding levels.
We are currently playing the PS2 version.
Yeah,
This is
it'll
not
look
the game we are
No,
kickstarting.
it'll look exactly like this.
Yeah, look at those volumetric effects, though.
Like, look how good that looks for now.
It is a bright game.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I
had
wish
the
we could get a
hall.
shot. We don't have a shot, but there's literally the TV we're playing on is a giant. I'm gonna guess. What do you think that's like? A 30 something
It's a 30. I think it's a 36-inch
CRT.
Sony Vega, like Grand Vega.
I was
or whatever.
nervous.
Yeah, you gonna pivot- you gonna pivot that
Pope,
camera?
Let's get this in the
It's
shot
like
here.
I think
No,
that's
it's the other one.
That might be the
Oh,
biggest.
you want to move that one? Yeah.
I think it's
I
the
was
biggest
worried-
tube television that they made.
I was worried that this was going to be the entirety of the shot.
Yeah.
Because it is
Couldn't get
such a
streams
big,
working?
stupid TV. When we
That was a Craigslist jam.
Yeah, when we wanted to start
Look
playing in the
how
office.
this TV is like. There's a controller in front of it for scale. This TV probably weighs 600 pounds.
Like it is larger than my torso. Like this
Yeah.
is perfectly to scale in the video. It is half my body.
So
But let's talk about why, though. Like the reason we are using a TV like this is because the old TVs, the CRT TVs, had no lag.
Yep.
So when you played a game that had like very finely tuned feedback, something like this was great. And some of the modern TVs, they're quick enough or they have some stuff inside of them that helps them sort of account for the lag, but.
Yeah.
We wanted it to be extra awesome, so we brought down the CRT.
Well, and this is, and it's
Authentic.
basically it's a direct analog signal versus the digital signal of HDMI or
Yeah, there's a
even
lot of
component.
and plus there's a lot of processing on modern
Yeah.
TVs to make them look better in other situations.
Start with
But
which ruins our games. Basically.
exactly.
So, which is why in Rock Band, Guitar Hero, we've had like calibration in all of our games. And
Right.
we were talking earlier. Some people were asking on the Twitter stream. They were just asking like, will there be calibration in this game? And we were like,
Yeah.
I mean, we have to. Like,
Yeah.
yes, there will be great calibration.
Stretch
Yeah,
them out.
definitely.
So Aaron and Annette are gonna play a little two-player right now. They got their ships, which we call beat blasters. Yes, that was what
Correct.
the nomenclature. And this is a song by Freeze Pop, former alumni Harmonix alumni Cassim Crooker is in this band, or was in this band.
Yeah, so 2 and 4 player, you play through the same levels and the same songs, but the entire track changes. It turns into this sort of half pipe, which was mostly done because back when this game was made, there was no widescreen TV.
Yep.
So we had to try and fit everybody onto this 4x3 format, which was super difficult. I'll call it a feature, but the left and right lanes are incredibly hard to play on.
Yes, they are.
Just because of the angle, we had to sort of squeeze it in there. But that's one of the awesome things about if we're able to make this game now, we'll be using HD widescreen TVs, and it'll be an entirely new thing. We'll be able to fit everyone really nicely on
Well,
that.
like one of the things that's craziest about the outside edges is that, especially like if you're used to Rock Band or Dance Central, Rock Band or Guitar Hero, like we define the lanes of each gem, like with UI, so you can actually see like left, right, center, like where the gem was way down the track, and we don't really do that in Amplitude. Like you can't see exactly if it's left or middle or right, and on the edges that gets incredibly difficult because they pinch towards the middle a little bit.
Yeah, they're all the same color and everything.
So, we learned a lot after making the game, but it's also a really fundamental game to making. I mean, so you worked on this game when we made it back in the early 2000s.
Yep, I was on the original Amplitude team. I've actually been here on every single video game we've ever done, so
Jesus.
that's like 14 million video games.
Yes, all the video. Like, I once counted the amount of just the SKUs that we'd ship if you count the different platforms as different games, because they kind of are. You have to do different development on them. And like in the 7 years I've been here, it's like 80-something SKUs, like some insane amount.
Yeah, so I used to try and track it on my personal website just as sort of a fun trophy wall kind of thing, but it became impossible.
It broke all the shelves. What's up, Hope? You all right? So, Ryan, what do you think, like, takeaway-wise, like, what did we do in Amplitude and Frequency that's different than what we did in Guitar Hero and Rock Band, and like what did carry over? Like what is sort of fundamental to making both?
Well,
I mean, a lot of people know us from Rock Band, right? It's like a lot of people follow the stream because of Rock Band, so that's why I asked that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Rock Band wouldn't be here if it weren't for these earlier games. The Frequency and Amplitude series is where we, got our chops on making this sort of beat matching rhythm action game. Some of the things that are obviously similar is that there's musical notes on a track, and by capturing them, you're sort of unmuting or releasing that sound and making the music more obvious. Something that is really unique to this game and is best in Amplitude, I think, compared to Frequency, even though I think they're both pretty sweet, is that you have a lot of moment-to-moment, like millisecond tactical choices to make. It's not like Guitar Hero or Rock Band where you're on a track and you're just chugging along on that track.
Your job is like get from the beginning to the end and survive. Like
exactly.
Very straightforward.
Your tactical choices tended to rely on when am I going to use power-ups, how am I going to streak, whereas this game relies a lot more on navigating the landscape.
I don't mean to be gender normative, but I'm assuming Annette was Zoe and just absolutely whopped you.
She did. Yeah, she pretty thoroughly crushed me.
So in terms of differences, like stylistically, or I mean, there's a bunch of different axes you could attack this question from, but let me throw it at you. So we've made other games attached to the Rock Band franchise that are sort of, I would say, derivatives of this idea, but they're different in a bunch of different ways. So Rock Band Unplugged on the PSP. Rock Band Blitz for the 360 and the PS3, sort of the digital era of that. Those games are similar in some ways. I mean, they're single player or controller based beat match games with multiple tracks. What do you think sets something like Amplitude apart in terms of both style or tone or even game design that you think you want to make sure you bring back when we make this game this time around?
Well, I think that Amplitude was the most pure and in some ways the most polished gameplay-wise out of all those variations.
Sure.
There's the sort of holistic look on this game that I just think really holds up better than the other ones, in that the whole world and the music and the effects and the sort of all the sound effects as well, it's all wrapped up in this sort of cyberspace kind of thing.
Yep.
Which, looking at this one nowadays, is like it's kind of passé, but but it's whole.
From like an art style perspective.
Yeah, from an art style, and like some of the music holds up amazingly, and some of it.
And some of the music
so.
is POD. It's okay, you can say it.
But you know, the other games that you were talking about, they were, you know, we were experimenting with other ways of playing multi-track beat matching.
Yeah.
But I think most of us, all the way along, just always came back to Amplitude as the best version of this experience. And so the thing that is really going to set this particular project apart is that we're not experimenting in those core gameplay elements. We're taking something that we know is awesome, and we're going to up-res it in all different kinds of ways, but it's going to be at its fundamental core this game on platforms that otherwise
Not
you couldn't play it.
This game, but with rock music, or this game, but how do we make it with this art style that's not, you know, that's not Amplitude? Like, the thing we've always said, like, we know this is successful, so what if we did X to it? Now we're actually just going to make the thing that's successful and just make it better, right?
Exactly.
Like, make it an improved version of itself that works.
Yeah, I think we're doing some. It's super early days still, but I think we're doing some pretty cool stuff to enhance the theme, to enhance the connection between the music and the visuals. I think a lot of stuff is going to be really, really tightly linked, even more so than this original.
We've learned a lot, right? I mean, like, even, man. That seems like
using
maybe...
using the freestyle as a way to F your opponent is pretty good.
Yeah, people in the chat are basically calling it out for going easy on Aaron to be nice, which, like, people can tell Annette, stop pulling up. Just take him to the hoop. He's actually, oh no, he's still losing. I was gonna say, he's actually falling behind.
I'm doing better.
Yeah, so...
Someone just mentioned up there, talking about how it's playing this game in the dark was the trippiest thing ever. That's actually a huge part of this game, and that's something that we hope to bring back and do an even better job with. Like, we've done a lot of pretty sweet psychedelia in the past 10 years.
Yeah.
Through the later rock bands and into the Beatles, for example. I think that we're all pretty excited to make this game like a pretty wacko psychedelic trip when you're staring at it. Crazy things used to happen when you played this game for a long time. Like, I don't know if anyone out there has had this happen, but if you sit here and you play this game even for 15, 20 minutes, not only do you not blink at all,
right.
But if you shut the TV off, the whole entire room starts moving in this
like
really
in a tunnel,
bizarre
right?
way.
Yeah.
Right, because your brain is like locked on this tunnel. And
like, Aaron, why don't you try closing your eyes, since it's clearly you're not doing well enough with your eyes open
come
anyway.
on.
Smack talk.
Just play with your ears.
Just play with your mind, son.
Just be the tube.
Be the tude. And so I want to ask the question just because people have, it's come up a few times today, although mostly in pretty chill ways, but hey, so this game versus making another frequency, like, the explanation when we talked about this along, because you and I talked about this before we actually launched
Pour the
Kickstarter.
water in my eye.
Just the idea that we want to make another Amplitude because Amplitude was our take on all the things that were great about frequency, but some things that we wanted to make sure we improved. But I see whatever game we're talking about making, and you're the creative lead, so you should answer the question. But like, all the game we're talking about making being a spiritual successor to both games, right? It is not meant to be Amplitude and not frequency. It's meant to be like the lineage of those games coming together.
Well, it's an awesome point. I think, you know, Amplitude it was a sequel to Frequency, so I would like to think that people thought they were connected. I think this new game is going to be a pretty great combo of the two. Even better, it'll be more connected to Frequency than even I think Amplitude was. So the current plan, some of the differences were that Amplitude was on the sort of highway, whereas Frequency was in the tunnel.
Yep.
I don't think people necessarily care that much one way or the other, but I do know people were concerned about...
You just opened yourself up to a world of hurt people in the chat being like, I care, how dare you?
No, let me finish. I think that part of it that people actually did really care about was that the tunnel allowed you to have continuous motion all the way around.
In a circle.
And we made a decision for Amplitude to not allow that. You got locked all the way to the right or all the way left, and you had to traverse all the way around.
Yep.
So,
which we also did in Blitz to Greg LaPiccolo's much
right. Well,
stress.
So I mean, I will say that it is the current thinking is to use the track of Amplitude, but give a shot at doing a rap. Yeah. So the current plan is that you'll sort of res all the way on the right when you jump all the way to the left, so you get instant jump auto wrap to the other side of the track. So it's one thing that I think might be closer to frequency than people remember from Amplitude.
Yeah, and that's the thing that I think so far in talking to the dev team, because you had your first sort of kickoff meeting of the people who might be on this project if we fund it.
Yep.
Just to kind of get their ideas together. They that's something we want to try and play around with.
This is
see
hard.
See if it's good, see if it works. Yeah, this song is really hard, guys. I don't know if you knew that going in, but you're kind of screwed.
This game in general is very difficult.
Why don't we talk about that?
Let's talk about that because it's related to what we were just talking about. So frequency was much more difficult. The timing windows weren't as quite as finessed as Amplitude, and there's just some people that prefer that. And definitely a lot of the fans of the original series, Freak and Amplitude, like the difficulty of these games.
Yeah.
And so we've spent a lot of time talking about this. We're going to be taking a lot of care to make sure that this game is easy to get into and easy to play and start up on, but the difficulty ramp is going to be really, really crafted so that mastery of the level and mastery of the gems is a big deal. It's not going to be a super casual game. This is going to be a game that is trying and difficult.
When I wrote some of the copy in that section right on the Kickstarter of the actual language, and it's really hard to explain what we want, which is that we want the game to be approachable in the ramp into it. Because right now, if you look at this game, you don't know what's going on, and you're not listening to us talk. It's it's mesmerizing. What? The chat is shit talking Aaron. Look, if you want to play against Aaron in a new Amplitude with multiplayer, you should back the game.
Come down here, chum some of this
shit. At the $3,000 tier, and you can come be in our tournament and play against Aaron and maybe win some prizes. What we were talking about, how we were trying to stress that making the game have a better onboarding process and maybe making some UI improvements to explain what's happening moment to moment is not making the game quote-unquote easier. We're not looking to make the game dumbed down or to reduce the number of notes on screen. It's almost exactly the opposite.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny, before we started really digging into it, I was thinking, you know what, we probably have to do a much better job at tutorial and onboarding and make it easier for people to just get started. But honestly, if you crack this game open and you play the tutorial, it does a good job teaching you.
Yeah, totally.
This was an early version of some of our later games where there were the different difficulties set up, and the lower difficulties were actually pretty easy and easy to get people into it, and tried to give you a taste of what was to come later and get you psyched.
But that
about
tuning
playing.
is a focus for us during development, basically. That we want to make sure people who love Rock Band Blitz or love Guitar Hero or whatever can come in this game and on easier difficulties feel like they can have fun.
Yeah.
But that on higher difficulties, Amplitude fans and Frequency fans who want that punishing difficulty aren't going to be surprised to find oh no, we made the game easier so it's more mass market or whatever. It's this game's gonna be hard, son.
Exactly.
I just want to call to your attention that I won because I picked the easy lanes and let her deal with the hard shit.
So there's some strategy there. Basically, there's some strategy that you're chicken shit, and Annette's really good at this game.
History will show that I won that match. This stream will be archived, and you cannot take that away from me.
There you go. All right, so do we want to pivot to talking about some other stuff now? Want to keep playing? Want to do both? Why don't we? You want to talk about some tears? Why don't you boot that computer back up?
The tears that Annette's crying after I beat her. Those tears.
Wow.
Tears because I haven't blinked
I'm ashamed
in a while.
of you. So we are really excited about the Kickstarter stuff. We wanted to make sure we had some really straightforward tiers in the Kickstarter. People just want to get the game.
Yep.
Just want to grab onto some of the more accessible stuff. But then we also have some crazier tiers up top. So I don't know, Annette, do you want to? We are over 3,000 backers now. Thank you guys so much.
Sweet.
If you're coming from the stream.
Thank you.
Again.
What about that graphic, Pope?
Pop that graphic
if people want to donate.
Pop it up.
Back that Kickstarter.
Here it comes. There it is. Back this. Back this.
Back this.
There.
See, pointing is really hard for people on our team.
Yeah. Well, it's backwards. It's backwards and upside down. From the monitor. So
worth noting quickly that they only have 18 days to back, not 30 as most Kickstarters.
And we might talk about that later. I mean, Kickstarter actually lets you set the duration of your Kickstarter to pretty much anything under 60 days, and they recommend 30 days or less.
Yep.
And we can talk about later in the Q&A section why we went with 18 days and what happened there. But it's only 18 days long, so it's basically
don't put it off.
3 business weeks. Yeah, if this is one of those Kickstarters you want to tag for later, don't forget A, that's going to be in 3 weeks. And B, that it'd be better if you just backed it now.
We'll be reminding you constantly.
All the time.
Yeah.
So
you better just back it, because the sooner it's backed, sooner we'll just stop bothering you.
Yeah.
We'll get off your back once it is backed, to take Ryan's joke and say it again louder.
So yes.
let's talk about tiers, Annette.
Yeah.
Pope, are you ready with dumb graphics?
Yeah.
Okay,
yes,
great.
So if you give us your dollars, we will
Give
make
us
a
your
game.
money.
But you will also get some stuff depending on what tier level you back at. So a lot of the earlier tiers, if you don't have a whole lot of cash to throw out, totally cool. Every contribution counts.
It does, man.
And at the very least, you'll get your name in the credits
We're all in this together.
in a lot of the earlier tiers. So that's pretty cool.
So there's like a sort of baseline tier that's just like, thanks for backing the Kickstarter. You don't even get the game because it's like $10.
Yes. But help us make this game happen
Yeah.
because it's important
We
to
still
us.
appreciate people who are. There's people who've said, "Hey, I have an Xbox. I don't have a PlayStation, so I can't get this game, but I threw you guys $5 because this game on PS2 is like one of my favorites, and I want to see you make it." And like we really appreciate that.
Appreciated.
We
Yeah.
you know we spend a lot of time doing sort of dumb things out there with the community and for the community, and we appreciate that sort of shout out back to us. And
Yeah.
I mean, it means a lot.
Yeah.
Makes what we do seem
And a
worthwhile.
big part of the reason why we want to make the game in the first place, and the reason we're on Kickstarter, is because we've gotten so many requests from people over the years. Like
seriously.
a ludicrous number of requests. Like every time we announce a new game, we get a lot.
Okay, but where's Amplitude?
Yeah,
Yeah,
what
Pope,
about Amplitude?
Mr. Pope had a tweet earlier today that was basically like, every time we launch a game, people just complain it's not Amplitude, so now's the day to put up or shut up,
Yeah.
jerks. Like,
Pretty
it's
much.
time to tell us.
Yes.
So that's the $10 tier, sort of a basic.
Yeah.
Did you get your name in the credits for that, though?
For the $10 tier?
Yeah. Do you know? You don't
You
know?
do.
Oh, you do. So if you want to chip in and just like kind of throw your support behind the project, you'll get your name in the credits as a backer. We appreciate it if
Yeah,
anyone
thank you.
isn't sure if they want to play the game or not or doesn't know about it. You
Yeah.
can also always back at $10 and up your back later if you decide you do want to play the game as we talk
Yeah.
more about it.
So thank you so
Check
much
that out.
for all of your love and support.
That's like a meal
It is.
at McDonald's.
Yeah,
I eat a lot.
for a slightly more expensive meal, which actually sold out already. So thanks to everybody who got on the early backer price. That is super cool. That was
Sweet.
like over 1,000 of you.
We had 1,000 people, or we put a limited 1,000 person tier of just like early access. Hey, if you get in here in the first couple hours, you'll be able to get the game for $15 instead of $20, and it sold out like in 2 hours.
Yeah.
And actually, for a while, had 1,001 backers.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, what is that?
I think like 2 people backed at the same time, so Kickstarter didn't cut them off, and then someone must have bailed. I don't know, it was weird, but
No.
it's down
Anyway.
at 1,000 now. So
But thank you
Cool.
for jumping on this early. And then you can actually still get the game. It's not too late. $20. You get a cross-buy code, and what that means is it's compatible with PlayStation 3 and PlayStation 4.
one code for PlayStation Network, and
Yes.
what device you redeem it on, then you get the game. So
Yes.
if you have a PS3 and are thinking about getting a PS4, and we don't have to ask you what system you want, and you have to make a decision, you can get the cross-buy code, enter it in later, and you'll get it for
How
that platform.
convenient.
Yeah, I know, right?
How handy.
Thanks, Sony. You're awesome.
Yep. And then you also get your name in the credits for that. So get the game, get your name in the credits in a game forever for the rest of your life. Show your kids.
Game name fame.
Be proud.
Keep going, Annette. What's
Proud
next? After 20, so that's $20.
That's
And that's the
$20.
price of the game. So basically, you're just saying like, hey, today, I'm giving you $20 so you make this game, and then you'll get the game.
Yeah. If we
Easy.
get funded.
If we get funded, but we
So
need you to
help
do
us
it.
get funded.
Seriously, we're desperate.
Please help us.
Not desperate,
Please.
but we're excited.
We just want your money.
We're nervous.
We
Let's
just
see.
like it.
Give it.
Okay. And then the next one is $40.
This is a fun one.
You get it 2 weeks early, so you have time to practice.
Yeah, if you want to be like Annette and not like Aaron, aka be good at the game, not bad at the game.
I won,
He won.
one of
He-
the
you
3
had some
games
strategically
we
practice.
won.
played.
All right, well, sure.
He had some practice.
Yeah, you could get. We're gonna basically deploy this game early to anyone who backs the $40 tier or above. So there'll be a 2-week exclusive where they'll get to bang on it on PlayStation 3 and PlayStation 4 before anyone else. And
brag.
Then they get to
brag.
brag, show
Brag, get up on the leaderboards
screenshots,
early.
share some stuff from their game out to the world, and say how awesome they are and be on top of the leaderboards. And then we'll let the masses pour in 2 weeks later, and they'll ruin it for everybody.
Yeah.
That's $40. Cool. And then at $70, you get all that stuff plus a really cool exclusive print
Yeah.
of the game.
Ryan's making some cool art with our art team.
Right now, I'm making it
In his
as
head.
In his head.
But a lot of Kickstarters have done prints. I have prints from the Double Fine Kickstarters that I've backed. I have some prints from some other Kickstarters I've been a part of, and we make some really cool art for our games. And often we don't get to really blow that up and feature it because it's hidden behind lanes and notes. So I think that the Kickstarter print will be a pretty awesome piece of art.
Yep.
Yeah, it'll be custom made, and it's not like a screenshot or anything. It'll
No.
be something really, really sweet and custom made just for that print.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not to pat ourselves on the back, but the print that we just did for Disney Fantasia Music Evolved,
It's crazy.
Pretty
Badass.
baller.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Jamie McKiernan.
Yeah,
She-
she made a
Awesome job.
really sweet poster inspired by the Hollow in Fantasia, which was gorgeous. So our people make really good stuff.
Yeah, our artists are pretty unparalleled. So hopefully we can
We'll get a mock-up.
let them go
hopefully,
crazy
up
on
there,
something. Yeah, we'll get a mock-up
so you
shortly.
guys can
And
see it.
I don't know, but if you guys love cool video games and cool video game related art, this will be a cool piece of art that you can get for with the price of $70, but you also get the game 2 weeks early and your name in the credits, so they kind of stacks with their stuff.
All that stuff.
But what comes next, Annette? What if
Next.
you want more stuff?
Give us $100.
Oh my gosh.
You get all previous tiers
Everything.
and a PS2 style case with new Amplitude art.
So if you're like, hey, I love the era of physical goods at retail. I wish I could go to GameStop right now and buy this game.
Physical goods.
And we're like, we're not doing that because it's expensive. But we will make you a cool
Yes.
PS2 looking case with some new art that we slap on it because let's call a spade a spade. I love Amplitude. I played Amplitude a lot. The box art of Amplitude was an exercise in design by committee and maybe is not our finest shining star moment.
I mean, not a single person at Harmonix had anything to do with the cover of that Amplitude.
So we would like to make box art that we feel is really awesome.
Maybe if I can, I'll dig up.
Your
If I can
concepts.
find it, I'll dig up the Harmonix version.
Yes.
That'd be rad.
That'd be
Maybe
awesome.
that'll be what we
If
How-
it still exists, because we did things on paper back then.
How big is the POD logo on that box art, though? Is POD
on the
yes.
one we made?
Just,
Yeah.
it's the entire
It's the entire thing.
on
Okay.
the one.
Yeah,
And then
was-
Amplitude really small.
So
Exactly.
that's a PS2 box
POD
art.
presents.
Yes.
Amplitude.
POD.
Yes.
A POD joint.
So please allow us to rectify that mistake and get you
Paid
some
on
new box
delivery.
art.
I think this the PS2, the retro gaming case, may be my favorite reward
Yeah.
from the Kickstarter, specifically because it is a case for a digital title.
Yep.
Hey man,
Which makes all of the sense in the world.
it's
Yep.
great.
It's just so
But if you're a collector and you want to have stuff on your shelves,
Yeah,
it's
it's
nice
a
to have it in
conversation
there.
piece.
It's a conversation
you want to
piece.
show everybody like I backed this thing.
And
Yeah.
I've got some really cool PC boxes from games that I've
Yep.
backed on Kickstarter over the years. We figured, like, let's play off that a little bit. We'll make something really cool and give it to people when it, it's
It's
a
cool,
nice
man.
thing
Yeah,
to have.
I dig it.
All right, next, $125.
Yeah, ma'am.
We actually have a mock-up of this thing.
Yeah, shirts.
Pope, are you ready?
Let's
T-shirt.
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 We
yeah,
made
here's a mock-up of the really
So
sweet
this is
shirts.
our early Amplitude logo that Ryan worked on with Colby and some other people here at Harmonix.
Yep. It's
Over,
mostly Colby's jam.
yeah, over some cool concept background art that you've been working on with some of the other concept artists.
Yeah. And this is like there's sort of key art, theme art that we're using that is evocative but doesn't have actual, doesn't have the beat blaster or anything on it. I just typically, like, for all of our team shirts in house, whenever we finish a game, I like to have a shirt that supports the team and the project, but isn't super obvious, like giant character from the game.
You may have seen us wearing our really cool like Mo or Dr. Tan t-shirts from Dance Central, which are like just a really cool character drawing by Pearly in black and white.
Yeah. I mean, it's no Dump Lord shirt, but
Not yet. We'll see if we get there for higher backer tiers. Let's keep
Speaking of
rolling.
higher backer tiers.
Things are about to start getting real crazy.
Yes.
It escalates very quickly.
So we have one more, and then we'll.
Yes, so $200 or more.
Yeah.
You get the collector's edition. So previous reward tiers plus an exclusive vinyl record. We actually have a mock-up of that too. If you want to pull that up.
this is the
mock-up.
one. This is the one that I am most.
You're
psyched
pumped
for.
about this,
Right.
right?
Tell us about it.
Well, so we're really focusing on original music for this game. We have amazing musicians here at Harmonix that have had songs in the original games, and we just had some excellent meetings just hours ago about the theme of the new music for this one.
Yeah.
And as a huge vinyl collector and lover of all things 33 RPM, we're going to be making a limited edition record. So this is a mock-up. It's quite possible that things will shift from this somewhat, but this gets you the general gist. We're going to be doing a multicolored vinyl edition, limited, and it'll have, obviously.
Sorry, Jay, keep going. Keep going. Do not acknowledge trolls in the chat.
Distracted.
Don't let it throw you off. And both Ryan and I have actually made vinyl records before for bands that you've been in and bands that I've released records for on our label, so we know we can do it.
So
Yeah.
along those lines too, when Ryan put out the LP for Megasys, your band, it was far and away the most extravagant LP
It was ridiculous.
I've ever seen.
Yeah, it was when we would bring it to record stores, and they would ask us how much it cost to make. Their jaws would drop. It was more than probably any other 4 records combined. It had so many bells and whistles, and so I really, we're gonna class this joint up. It's gonna be really nice. But the colored vinyl will be awesome. It'll be on heavy grade Excellent vinyl. It'll sound awesome.
180 gram.
180 gram.
You're
Maybe
committed to
190.
that?
Maybe
Okay.
190.
Maybe 190. Maybe we'll just put another 10 gram weight in there just to throw
220,
you off.
221. No, the press that we're using uses virgin vinyl and has excellent colors, and they do a great job.
They're super amazing. I can't wait to work with them, actually. That's who we did our records with, too.
Yeah, sweet.
So we're going to keep working out the details of that, but you can guarantee it'll have killer art. It'll be really high-quality vinyl. We care a lot about making a good collector's edition, and that comes with the record, but also the box art, the print, the T-shirt, the game, your name in the credits. It's like, for $200, I mean, $200 is not a small amount of money. Like,
I'd be a sucker not to spend $200.
I think
though.
certainly. I feel like we're back on QVC, Aaron. Aaron and I know people on this couch who've been on QVC.
Could we please go back to QVC?
It's pretty sweet.
We're doing a QVC Amplitude Day.
Yes.
It'll be very
We'll
confusing.
do a tour.
Right.
All right, so now we're getting to the crazier
Now
stuff.
we're getting into weird stuff. This
So,
is
for
NyQuil-induced
That's the
tier
normal
writing.
stuff.
You should have seen the brainstorm documents I sent around, man. I was messed up.
Boy, did I shoot a lot of that down.
Yes, you did.
So, $250. Join us for a panel at PAX. Our panels are crazy.
Oh, God, yes. Good image of how crazy our panels sometimes get.
And you can be a part of this. What is happening in this?
This is me smashing whiskey bottles over Dan Teasdale, Harmonix alumnus, and Dave Lang, Harmonix enemy, D.
Pope's
Leezy.
face in the background.
Yes, Eric Pope is fearful for his safety. Right. Aaron is hiding. Jeff Gersman, Dr. Tracksuit.
Dr. Tracksuit, who usually fears no man,
is upset.
Very hesitant to approach this
Let's just
scenario.
call out that Andrew Renee from The Escapists is in the bottom left-hand corner and is completely unfazed as everyone else is getting destroyed.
Yeah,
anyway.
red hair, don't care. Totally focused.
Red hair, don't care. Andrew
So we
Renee.
do really crazy stuff at PAX panels, and you could be a part of it.
You'll be a VIP.
There's been like 17 people that have backed that already, I think.
Yeah.
Wow, yes.
That's
so
awesome.
holy cow. There's 3 spots left if you want to jump on this. You get to join us at a panel, so if you're going to PAX already and want to join us, we will be your friends for one Seattle
Give you the
hour.
VIP treatment.
Yeah.
Yes.
You'll get donuts probably, if I had to guess.
Definitely
We
donuts.
will be so
I
nice to
guarantee
you.
that.
And let's just say it, like, to be very explicit, but there's only 3 spots left here, so if you want that tier, go do it literally right now.
Right now.
But like, we're not paying for you to fly to Seattle. We're not paying for you to get in the show. We don't have tickets for you. But if you're there, we will make sure you have killer seats.
Mm-hmm.
We will work it out like the Cards Against Humanity guys did so well for their panel for VIP killer seating. And then we will hang out and have a great time with you, and you'll be, featured in some silly ways.
And that also includes all the collector's edition stuff too. So physical goods and panel fun time. So
you also get the game. Yeah, for $50 more, you basically get to hang out with us, and we'll be jerks.
yeah, if you're going to
towards
PAX
you.
already, why not?
Yeah.
It's fun. Let's see. So now we're getting a little crazier. $500.
Yeah, man.
You get to vote. You get to vote on the soundtrack.
Pick some songs with us. So
Pick some
hey,
songs
So
with
the
us.
Song Senate is
Song
one
Senate.
of the crazier ideas you've pitched.
yeah, I know, and it's
Yeah.
also great. So let's talk about it. So everyone always is like, "Hey, John, let me ask you a hypothetical question, John. Why do you pick music for your game the way you do? I can do it better.
Yeah. Oh, I can do it better. That's the
Couldn't you
caveat.
do it better, Aaron?
Oh, I could do
You
it
pick
better.
so much better music.
Yeah.
So it's complicated making a music game and picking the songs for it, but people always want to have input. They want to tell us what kind of songs they want to play.
Mm-hmm.
And so we are super excited about letting you guys in on the process. We're going to post demos we have of songs in progress that we're making. If we end up getting funded to the point of having licensed music in the game, which we'll talk about in a minute, we'll let you suggest some songs we should go after for licensed music and also vote on the final soundtrack. But it's limited to 500 people. It's $500 because we don't want to have this be like, we don't want too many people getting involved and making it all POD all the time, which is what I'm really worried about. I don't want POD being the backers of this level. We're throwing a lot of shade at POD. I feel real bad. I don't know. Sorry, POD.
They could though. POD. If you've got $500 American,
You could be it. Yeah.
Your
Suggest-
money's good here.
Boom. All day.
Nailed
It's all
it.
boom. Nailed it. So yeah, the song sets are the way we just want. I mean, it feels like the most interactive way we can get you involved in the moment-to-moment development process. Like halfway through development, we'll start having audio online and let you kind of throw your weight around. So back that tier, and you'll get, in addition to that, all the collector's edition stuff. So you'll get the record, the shirt, the poster, the box art, and your name in the credits too.
I think it's a pretty cool chance for people to kind of like get a peek behind the curtain too and
Yes.
see how our process works
Yep.
and see what kind of goes into picking the song selection on our side. We'll continue to listen to fans that aren't backing at that tier, as we always listen to our fans.
Yeah.
We'll just listen closer to the people in the Song Senate.
Yeah, I mean, we'll listen to anyone who shouts ideas at us, but we'll actually be obligated
Yeah, we'll
to listen
really
to.
listen
well,
to
right.
those people.
I mean, like Aaron will listen to you if you're on the general Twitter forum mayhem.
Yeah,
but,
meaning I'll scroll past your tweet.
but like Ryan will listen to you if you're a backer of $500.
yeah, a real person. A real person.
So
will
Annette, this is if you're like a person who is really into Amplitude and has some disposable income within reason.
Yes.
What if you're like stupid got mad money and you want to spend a ton of money, can we get into some tiers that are a little crazier?
Crazy? How crazy do we want to
Like
get?
maybe $3,000 crazy?
Okay, $3,000 crazy. You get to come here
To this glorious,
to this
glorious set.
dungeon.
and check out the lit up tree for yourself. It is pretty cool. It is a real fake
So
tree.
tour the Harmonix office?
So you actually get to you could come here,
Yep.
and then you actually get to hang out in meetings because we love meetings here.
Ah.
at
You'll be in
Harmonix.
meetings all
You'll
day.
be
Yeah,
in
your
meetings
choice
all
of
day.
meetings.
Yeah, we'll set up
a
we'll
full
set up-
menu.
We're
a
gonna
la
put you to
carte
work.
selection.
We are going to have the guys from Telltale Games to devise a forking
Episodic.
episodic choice of which meetings you go to.
Yes, they're going to decide your path that day. And you actually get to go do some beta testing, design meetings, all that fun stuff, see all of the craziness that goes on here when we make our games.
Yeah.
And then there'll actually be a tournament where you can win some prizes and see how, like, if you maybe suck as bad as we do or maybe you're better than us, but hey, we'll find out that day. So we're hoping you're practicing. That includes also, it is $3,000,
Yep.
but it includes previous reward tiers
Yep.
and airfare and 1 night of hotel.
Yeah, so we're going to basically, that $3,000 is not like $3,000 plus like good luck getting to Boston.
Yeah,
It's like
no,
if you're in the
we'll fly you
continental
here.
US, we'll fly you here, we'll put you up for a night in a hotel, and like the day, either depending on where you're flying in from, either the day before or the day after, like you will get to hang out with us for basically a full day. We'll get some
Yeah.
meals in here, and we'll play a video game
Play
that you
some games,
theoretically
have
like a
some fun.
lot.
Yeah.
If you're spending $3,000 on it, and you get to meet the guys making it and get to hopefully beat Aaron at this video game,
Oh, yeah.
which shouldn't be a challenge for any of you.
No, I'm sure all of you guys can do that. All right. Speaking of hanging out with Harmonix people,
Oh, man.
$3,500.
You get to go to dinner with two of the smartest dudes that I know.
Alex and Ron.
Oh yeah, that's who it is. Sorry, I forgot who it was. Yeah,
Our founders.
Our co-founders, Alex and Aran, who worked on the original game and are still here kicking around and making great stuff. You'll be able to go to dinner with them, and we will either fly them to you or fly you to us, depending on what is more efficient and effective. And we'll take you to a nice killer dinner. You can ask them whatever questions you want if you have $3,500. But if you have $3,501, you can maybe upgrade your meal a little bit.
Do we have a graphic for this?
You should have a graphic for this, I believe.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
So for $1 additional over the founders dinner,
Upsell.
$3,501. There's one spot. You can have dinner with Tim Schafer,
Head of Double Fine.
head of Double Fine, Kickstarter guru, master, bajillionaire.
I believe there are a bunch of caveats here, though. That dinner will definitely
Yes.
take place in the Bay Area.
Yep.
You have to be in the Bay Area.
Choice of restaurant is up to Tim.
Tim
He
Schafer
has
will
to
pick
pick the
where you eat.
restaurant. And
He will pocket the difference
and
in the
yes,
money.
And you can ask him stuff we don't know if he'll answer. But he's nice, and you guys should just
We actually
hang out
did
with
this
him.
mostly as a joke, and then Tim said it was fine, and so he's actually
We didn't
in
think
our
that was actually
Kickstarter.
going to happen,
Nope.
but it did. So have dinner with him. He's
Saw
nice.
earlier today that Tim was considering backing that tier himself so that he
Just
could
so we
just
could have a private meal.
pick the restaurant and have 2 meals all to himself.
Yeah, and I told him, just send me the receipt, man. That's
Yep,
fine.
we will embrace that.
I also
Brilliant guy.
sort of want, and no, you do not have to pay for dinner. We will pay for dinner. That's part of the
Yes,
tier.
we will give you money for food.
both of those tiers. I also was really hoping that Double Fine would just pool their resources and just throw a pizza party with Tim
Yes.
as just like a weekly meeting.
That'd
We'll
be
pay
pretty
for your
cool.
pizza, Double Fine. Get your cash together.
Yup.
I back both of your games. Let's do this.
All right.
Quid pro
All
quo.
right, so now things are getting nuts.
Next, a lot of people have asked as a joke, if I give you money, will you put my song in the game? Someone actually called our office today and asked if they could put their song in the game.
Already.
You can.
The Kickstarter's
for
not
the
for 6
price
hours.
of $7,500, you will get your song in the game. But there are some rules. You completely own the right to the song, has stemmed audio, and isn't super offensive or crazy.
Yeah.
And
We
or
basically
if it's
reserve-
just radio
We
silence.
basically reserve the right to say
approve
we
it or
can't do
not.
this song because it's all curse words, or we can't do this song because it's
Yeah.
just like a John Cage 433 of silence. Like, that's not going to work for gameplay.
Yes.
But assuming you own the rights to the music, we'll put your song in the game, man. We'll make it happen.
We'll work with you on it. It'd be pretty cool. So that's $7,500, and you also get previous tiers, with the exception of the panel and visit and other stuff. Details
Yep.
on the page. Moving on.
We're almost done, and then Ryan's got to go
This
because
one's
Ryan's got to get a ride home.
bonkers. This one is
True.
$8,000. We will throw you a party.
Limited to 2. We will come to your house, which I assume your basement looks something like this, and we will play Amplitude. Yes. It'll be.
Yes.
I will
We're
grow
gonna-
out my flat top.
Yep.
We're going to throw you a party. So people actually fly to your house and play the game with you. Continental U.S. only, obviously, because we can't just go overseas.
No.
Yeah, obviously, because just like
Because crazy.
yeah, that would be crazy.
Because throwing a party is not even crazy
no,
at
that's
all.
totally
But
normal.
we'll bring a killer sound system. We'll bring a
Sure.
killer video thing if you don't have one, and we'll make sure we bring some lights and some food. And if you have friends and they're all 21, maybe we'll bring some drinks.
We'll bring the Rock Band stage kit.
We'll
or
get
some-
tripped out, and
Don't
don't
cross
promise
the
the Rock Band
race.
stage
Okay.
kit. God damn it, Annette.
All
What
right,
are you
we
new?
won't do that.
A monster.
I don't know, maybe someone will buy
then there's one more tier,
And the
and then we're
last one, $10,000, a sugar daddy package. You will fly to Boston.
Did I actually call it that? No.
That's what I called
Okay,
it.
good.
Get a tour of Harmonix. We will play music with you. We actually have a room for that, which is really
Jam
cool.
session, yeah.
Um,
And you get a ride in the
helicopter tour because whatever. And yes, we will
So-
put you up at a hotel.
So the running joke is that like Alex Rogopoulos has a helicopter called the Rogopolopter.
Yep.
Which he definitely does not, for what it's worth, but it's a funny joke. So we want to make sure we're both humble and directed why we wanted a helicopter tour. It's because there's a running gag about it. We do not actually have a company helicopter. If we did, we wouldn't be fucking on Kickstarter.
But we
We'd
will
just be funding our own
rent
games.
a helicopter for the tour. Have an actual helicopter pilot.
Yeah.
Pilot the helicopter.
Oh no, we are not hiring a pilot. You have to fly the helicopter. Oh wait, no.
I have to?
You have to fly the helicopter.
I have to fly the helicopter. We have seriously discussed buying a skin of Alex's face
Yep.
to brand the helicopter as the actual Regatta.
We'll see.
We'll see how
Yeah.
this pans out.
It'll be painted that red color of his that
Yeah.
leather jacket.
Yeah, the
that,
leather-
like,
his-
That'd be
oxblood-
pretty
oxblood
sweet.
Old leather
color.
jacket.
Blood.
So look, I want to make sure we get a chance to say thank you to Ryan for coming on the stream. We're gonna stick around. We're gonna answer some questions, but Ryan has to bounce because Ryan has to drive really far away to go back to his house,
True.
Yes,
Sorry.
but thank
and he
you.
does not drive alone, so he has to make sure he's not holding up
Yeah.
all the harmonics.
And we want him to get home safe because he is lead on this project and we need him.
We have a
Right.
lot to do.
We have a lot of work to do.
So we're gonna say goodbye to Ryan. Ryan,
Thank
thanks
you,
for coming to the
Ryan.
stream.
Yeah, thank you.
And I don't know if we're gonna transition now to Q&A stuff. Is that what you want to
Yeah,
do?
sure.
I'm going to
do
do a
a
little
Q&A
strip
stuff.
tease here.
Yeah.
We'll keep playing the game to cover up.
I will answer questions.
All right.
Drake will
Sounds
answer
good.
questions.
Ryan, I'm sure
Let's
we'll
play
see
the
you
game.
soon.
You certainly shall. I wish I could play with you guys more.
Well, we'll be playing the game more. You know, we'll probably do some more streams where we play the game a little bit more and talk about design and development as it goes. So
Yeah, I saw some questions go by on the stream up there. I would love to answer them. So, maybe I'll
yep,
come on.
we
back
will be
next time.
on Twitter. We will be on the Kickstarter forums. If you back our Kickstarter stuff, you can, not the forums, the Kickstarter comments, answering questions. We've already been doing that a bit. Ryan's going to be accessible. We'll do some more streams. So back the Kickstarter today and subscribe to the Twitch channel, and you'll know when we're back live, and we can answer more of your questions then. But I'm going to stick around and answer whatever questions I can in the
Aaron and
meantime.
I are going to play the game.
And you guys are going to play the game.
Yeah.
Cool.
Annette, do you want to put that lav on before you start playing?
Sure, although it's just going to be like...
You grunting and swearing? Yeah. All right, cool. Thanks, Ryan. Bye. Have a good day. Good luck walking past both the cameras.
See you guys.
This will be fun.
Later.
Watch your butt. Don't show your butt off too much. Yeah.
Ah,
Oh,
there we go.
that was good. I thought he was gonna actually face that camera real hard. So guys, what song are you playing?
The Chris Child song?
Oh, cool. I love the characters, by the way. We've talked about one of our potential stretch goals being adding some character creator elements back in, but right now it's not in the core game because they're just these weird little dancing animated things, but they're all pretty amazing.
Do you want to talk about stretch goals at all?
Yeah, why don't we talk about that? So people have been asking a lot of questions. I'll actually address one of our most frequently asked questions while I'm doing that, which is people said, like, hey, where are your stretch goals? I want to get X, Y, and Z. Why isn't it in the core game? We wanted to make sure we were kind of humble going out and not like presumptuously saying, here's all the things we're going to get when you give us more than $775,000, which is already a lot of money, right? So we didn't list our stretch goals, but we do have a plan for them in case we are fortunate enough to get funded. And one of those stretch goals, to answer the most commonly asked question I've had today, is will there be a Vita version of this game? Now, the short answer is that Vita versions are different enough in the development and design of the product that we can't just promise to do it in the core Kickstarter. But
No, this is Vita, not a Vita.
not a Vita. Vita Mashad, one of our lead engineers, will be on the project, actually, I'm pretty sure. But thank you for sidetracking me on that really important joke you made, jerk. But I can confirm that Vita is in our stretch goals, and if we get overfunded, we'll show you guys what those stretch goals are. It is like a relatively expensive stretch goal. Excuse me. Just because it's a very different platform, we have to custom design for it. But we're really excited about making this for Vita. I'd love actually to have Amplitude in my hands. Amplitude?
Nope.
Hand Amplitude?
No. Amplitude?
Jam Tramplitude?
Yes.
So that you can take it to go. And again, that will be cross-buy, so theoretically we'd be able to upgrade for all the backers if we can get people to back it. So tell your friends, man, you want Vita support. Let's make that happen. In a similar way that, oh man, they're throwing some serious power-ups on the screen right now.
Yeah.
In a similar way that we have local multiplayer guaranteed for the game, that's the most fun way to play this game, is sitting around on TV just in a trance with your friends. We've talked about online multiplayer being a stretch goal as well. So if you want to play with your friends online, in addition to just having leaderboards, give us a shout. Keep backing the project. If we get above our goal, we'll start rolling out what those tiers actually look like. We're really excited about that. Pope, would you be able to drag the chat over just in case there's questions just for me? I mean, you can leave this frame up on the screen because it's fun to look at full screen video of the game. Thank you, sir. Other chat, so we actually threw a Q&A up in the comments of the backers page, and also now an official Q&A in the bottom of the Kickstarter with some of the frequently asked questions. So I will now spiel at you for a minute. I'm going to spiel you because everyone else is so busy focused on this game they can't ask or dialogue with me. But about why is Harmonix...
I'm destroying Aaron.
Yeah, why is Harmonix doing Kickstarter? So a lot of people have asked that question in a couple different axes. One, is Sony, funding this game? Why aren't, you guys just using Sony's money? Two, why aren't you using your own money and, all that Rockman money you have lying around? You're like, why should we help pay for what this game is? And I want to be really direct, and we were trying to be really direct in the video and in the actual Kickstarter language itself. Unless we can reach our funding goal, and hopefully more than our funding goal, we cannot make this game. So we have limited resources here as a developer. We only have so many people to go around on teams and so many projects we can put them on. And we basically need to dedicate a team to Amplitude to make it good. So we're currently looking for your support to see if this game, has the support we think it does. Fans have always said they want more Amplitude, and we want to make sure that that's something we can give you. So...
But John, you have to be flush with all that Viacom money.
Where's all that money from the sale of the company and blah, 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 that $50 you made? People don't understand that it's expensive and difficult to make games as a developer. Self-funded, self-developed games like this, it is crazy expensive. Maybe we'll even go into the details of what the budgets look like and what the schedules look like for games like this if people want to know that stuff. But, man... we don't have money lying around. We spent a lot of time the past 3 years making games like Fantasia, making games like Chroma, making games like Record Run that's coming out soon. All these games are self-funded. We need a self-fund development. It means that basically we need to put our money at risk. And frankly, there's not enough money to go around to fund all these games. And we think that this is a game fans have been demanding. So it seems like it's a reasonable thing to say, hey, fans, you want this. For the low price of $20, basically, which is what you spend on the game anyway, you can basically show us that you want this, and we can go to our producers and our executives and say, hey, we need a team, we want to put them on this game because we know there's an audience for this game, they're going to buy it and play it, and we're excited about it.
And also, real talk, this game was not a huge success when it came out.
Yes.
So it's not a financial grand slam to self-fund this game ourselves.
Right, when you comp this against other games, like against Rock Band Blitz or against Amplitude and Frequency when they first sold, in the era where there wasn't hyper-connected game, you couldn't download games digitally, there wasn't a PSN to speak of, right? The number of games basically said, cool, or the number of games we sold basically says, hey, we kind of can't make this game profitably.
But that's why Kickstarter is such a huge benefit, because we can show that there's a tangible interest in the community. So
and in the era,
in lieu of pre-orders.
Right, in the era where you may have rented this from Blockbuster when that was still a thing, and that's how you actually got the game and played it for a while and gave it back, and you maybe didn't buy a copy for yourself, you bought it used. We know lots of people play this game because people talk to us about it all the time.
Yeah.
But we want to make sure that we can put a development team on this responsibly. We have to pay for everyone's salaries, we have to pay for overhead, we have to clear music, we have to do all the, there's a bunch of stuff that comes with making any game at all. And having a Kickstarter means that we really know going in that we have your support and that you want us to make this game, and that we shouldn't put other people on other projects. We should put them on this project and dedicate resources to it for a while. Annette's playing some single player now, which looks actually pretty different when you haven't been in there for a while. There we go. Get this going. Our producer, Naoko, who's also in the Kickstarter photo, is in the background there, as I believe as Plural. She was one of the she's the vocalist on this track, I guess.
Yeah, it was pretty rad seeing that there's so many Harmonix folks, at least a dozen people, I think, from the original Amplitude that are still here at Harmonix.
And that team was not big. That team was 20-some, 30 people. It was not an infinite amount of people. The other thing I want to answer about Sony's involvement in the project. So Sony's been super helpful so far. I want to give a shout out to all the third-party guys at Sony for helping us make sure we had permissions to make the game and can schedule it and actually release the game on their platforms. But this is not and Sony did actually publish and owns the first Amplitude and Frequency. They are not funding this game, so they are supporting us in some intangible ways, some in-kind ways, helping us promote it on the PlayStation blog. Some emotional ways, just emotional support. But they are not funding the game outright, so there's no additional funding source other than the Kickstarter funding and whatever Harmonix can risk on the project. And frankly, unless we get you guys sort of on board, we basically can't make this game. So that backer that backer level we have for like the 775,000, that's the minimum amount.
Yeah.
If we don't hit that, we are not going to make Amplitude. This is not a thing where we're bait and switching you and then we'll just make it anyway. Like, we have other projects to work on instead, and we won't be able to do it.
Yeah, and that is in the realm of video games. I know it seems like a lot of money for Kickstarter.
Yeah.
But in the realm of video games, that is not a lot of money at all.
So I always tell the story about like the difference between like video game money for production and video game money for like people in a room, right? So like, hey, if you put $1 million on the table, I would literally stab anyone on the stream right now to get $1 million and walk away with it in a bag. Like, that's a lot of money. Personally, that means a lot of money to me.
Yep.
For a video game, that's nothing, man. Like, I think Phil Tibbs, our friend Phil Tibbs from Octodad, was on Twitter earlier talking about like how video games are deceptively expensive to make, and even paying people like close to minimum wage is like a little startup, you know, like that they are, like, you know, which is way less than those guys deserve. They made a great game. Like, like they are talking about $500,000 for the game that they've made, for example, right? Like, that's like when we talk about the team at Harmonix, we have like, you know, people who have been in the industry for 12 plus years, people making a game that we really believe in and want to make great, and then also the amount of people who have to make network support happen and you know, song support happen and next gen engine work happen. It adds up really quickly. Like, $775,000 is not the total budget for this game. Like, we are going to be taking a risk as Harmonix even if we just clear that threshold, which is why we really are hoping people step up and go beyond that level if they get excited about it. You know, that's why we want to engage it with Kickstarter.
But that's what we need to kickstart the project.
Right. That's why it kickstarts it.
Kickstarts it.
It does not fully fund it, which is not necessarily what Kickstarter
That's at
does.
fullyfunder.com. That's a different site.
Yeah, fullyfunder.com.
Kickstarter.
Is pretty crazy.
I'm going to be launching my game there later.
That's a terrible name for a website. Don't make that website.
Okay, fair enough.
So anyway, I know. Look, I made the point on Twitter to a couple different people today. Like, hey, emotionally, I totally get that. Like, the company that made Rock Band, which, you know, worked with the Beatles and Usher and these huge, you know, artists, and were published by other companies. Like, they must have money lying around to spend on this game. And I understand why Sony should just fund this project out of their pockets and make this like why is Kickstarter happening? Emotionally, it's a totally rational argument.
Yeah, sure.
It's totally valid emotionally. Like, it might feel a little weird. All I can do is tell you, like, that is very much not the facts of the situation, and that, like, there is no funding for this game unless we hit this Kickstarter goal, and that we're not messing with you. We've always been really direct and honest with people. Like,
and
we
I think
don't
Alex's
lie to
keynote at PAX East was actually super educational. If people have watched that, we have that archived on the YouTube's YouTube channel.
Yep.
I think that's super educational for where we are as a company, where music games are in general.
Yeah.
And hopefully that's a little bit more educational and kind of explains why like we are using Kickstarter as a platform, like why we are asking for this amount of money for a game.
Yeah.
Because if people think that $775,000 is a lot of money, if they knew the amount of money it would cost to make a new Rock Band, it would literally make your head fall off. Like it is a staggering amount of money.
And like that amount of money, for what it's worth, like $800,000 for what it's worth, is like about the total cost of like Record Run, for example, right?
Yep.
Like it's actually less than that number. It's more than that number. Like, to make a mobile game for iOS and Android, like, you know, these are things that, like, I know that seems crazy. I know people probably are really doubting me right now that I'm saying that, but like, as someone who makes games for a living and does this all day, it's expensive to make games. It's surprisingly expensive. And the same way that people right now are saying, hey, why can't you just port the old code? Hey, why can't you port Rock Band Blitz code over? It's not like...
It'd be easier for everyone to buy a CRT TV.
Yeah, why don't we just sell that with our Kickstarter? I mean, like, they aren't dumb questions. I don't want to sound like we're being dismissive of the questions, because, like, our point is more, this is surprisingly expensive, and we're using the word surprisingly on purpose to say, hey, we, like, straight up, we get why you're surprised, but it's also true. We're not padding that number or lying to you. So that's that. I don't know, man. It's this is probably the most uncomfortable part of it, is to talk about money with people, to ask for money from people. We're not used to doing that. We're used to being like good time Charlies who hang out and have a lot of fun and make party games. But this is the first time we had to say, like, look, if you guys want this game, we want to make this game. Please help us. Like, this is how much it takes, and hopefully people can believe that we're being honest about that.
I would feel even more uncomfortable if it wasn't our community. Like, the Harmonix community has always been unbelievably supportive, whether it's been with Rock Band DLC or supporting Dance Central. Like, people come out to shows, people support us at events, people support us online. Like, we have an unbelievably vocal community, an unbelievably supportive community, and so we're really excited to, like, work with that community to make this game and have their voices heard for things like song selection and like other rewards in the tiers that we have.
Well, and to the point of, like, why don't you just fund it yourself? Like, I guess the thing I'm trying to stress is, like, even if we get funded at $700,000, $800,000, right? Like, and that's before Kickstarter takes their cut and credit card companies take their cut, and we have to make all the physical goods, right? So it's not a lot of money after that. But, like, even if we get funded at that level, which is like the goal, and that is the goal, like, that we will make the game if it's funded there. We are committed to that. like in that case, we're still risking $1 million+ of our own money. Like we are still funding the game, and Sony's not providing that money, and a third party like Activision, EA, like the big companies that fund a lot of games are not funding that game. Like we are taking the risk because we love this project and want to make it. We're just asking for your help to make it possible to take that risk and not have it be something that we don't think is responsible to do when we're talking about people's jobs here, right? Like people have to get paid and feed their families and stuff at Harmonix and make the games that you love. So I don't know. That's sort of where we come out on it. This is a hard conversation, so I appreciate people being patient and talking to us. Ask questions about it. I'm trying to answer as many questions as I can directly. The more patient you can be about it, the nicer you can be about it. Like the nicer I will be about it. There are no dumb questions here. It's a surprising weird thing, but it's also
it's an exciting thing.
It could be cool, right?
Yeah,
you get to be a part of a big thing.
It's super exciting for us to start looking at a tool like Kickstarter. Like it's something that we've never done before.
Yeah.
It's exciting for us to be able to revisit this game, which is like a huge part of Harmonix's collective history. And knowing that if things go well here, that it could open the door to Kickstarter as like a future alternative for other titles.
New IP, things like that.
Yeah, things like that. Along the same lines for like Steam, early access. Like that there's these awesome crowdsourcing options that are available to independent studios.
Right. And we are an independent studio. We're not owned by anybody. We don't have a bunch of capital backing from a lot of people. Like we have the money we make from our games, and then we have to reinvest that, and it's scary and risky. So a lot of people are saying like, why is this gonna be as big as Harmonix? Like we're not that big. I mean, we have a lot of developers on staff, but we're not like a hugely capitalized company.
We're an independent developer that has managed to make some very big games. It does not mean that we are not still an independent developer.
Yep, and again, Pope is pointing out like there are some FAQs in the Kickstarter itself, or maybe that's Christine, I don't know. So we have some other questions that have come up. So 18 days, Aaron. Why 18 days?
I don't know.
I know.
You know?
Yeah.
Okay, so
try it again. Let's go the other way.
Drake.
Yeah.
So 18 days.
Yeah.
Why 18 days?
For what?
For the Kickstarter.
Why
is 18 days the duration of the Kickstarter?
It was such an incomplete question that you asked. I didn't know.
I'm sorry.
So 18 days. So we have some staffing decisions coming up. Basically, like again, if you don't work in video games, it may be kind of not confusing, but a little surprising to find out like when games like Fantasia or other games we're working on are coming out far down the line, like in the fall holiday window. A lot of developers will roll off those games early because they don't actually we need engineers and QA and producers around for like the end of the project, but a lot of artists, audio people, they don't need to stay on the project until the very last day.
Right up until the end.
Right. There's art lock and they're kind of done. They fix some bugs, but then they're kind of done. So we have people rolling off projects, and we're basically spending the next month figuring out where people are going to staff these people responsibly onto the next games. And so the date we picked is sort of the last responsible day we could pick to say, is Amplitude a real game or not? How many people should we put on it? How many resources can we dedicate to this project? What is the budget of the project? Which is going to be determined by the Kickstarter. So that's where that end date came from. And it's a real date. It is not an imaginary date. It's not like we picked a random day. And then the following weekend is like Memorial Day weekend, so we didn't think we could do it over that like long holiday weekend, so it had to be that Friday. And why is it only 18 days versus more? Like, frankly, I'll be honest about it. We had hoped to announce this earlier. We'd actually hoped to get it for the PAX keynote, and it just took a little bit more time than we wanted to get everything locked down and make sure we were on the same page with our friends at Sony, make sure that we're on the same page with our development team here. So it kind of ate in a little bit to the 30-day window.
We're talking with Alex at the keynote, like you were right up at the edge of the stage, talking to Alex about the signal you would give him if this deal closed while he was up on stage giving the keynote.
He had 2 versions of that keynote ready, and he was ready to toggle over, and he was going to launch the Kickstarter on stage. So, we were that close to doing it, and then we just had a couple more people who need to sign off on it. Like, we've had a lot of great friends at Sony working on third-party, first-party, lawyers, music people, like everyone kind of chime in to make sure.
In that respect, it's amazing that it's happening at all.
It's not a small deal. So, I mean, I really want to tell them how much we appreciate it and thank them for doing it. So, big ups to Adam Boyes and Gio Corsi and Brian Silva and the third-party team over at Sony for helping us hook this up, and a lot of their coworkers. So that's why 18 days. I know it's a weird amount of time. It's 3 full business weeks. It just means that we kind of can't let up. It can't be a thing where we kind of go quiet for a little while. We're going to be hitting you up with new information and new art assets and new fixes and changes to the Kickstarter every day. So we appreciate you guys bearing with us, and get your friends to back it.
People are doing an awesome job so far. We are eking up on 100,000.
Yeah,
We've got $98,721 right now.
Yeah.
If we could get over 100K before the end of this live stream, would be happy campers.
Yes, I'll be psyched about it. Or we will just filibuster until that's done.
Filibuster.
No,
What
we're
time
gonna
is
we're
it?
gonna
I
wrap
need
up
to
soon.
go,
It's 6:20.
too.
But we're
Jesus.
let's do 1 or 2 more questions because, and then maybe do some from the chat.
So it was a good segue.
Yeah.
You talking about how supportive the dudes at Sony have been.
Yeah.
Maybe that's a good way to segue into why not 360?
Why
Why
not
not
PC?
Xbox One? Why not PC?
Primarily, why not PC? I feel like people get the 360 versus PS3 and Xbox One versus PS4
Yeah, 'cause
conversation.
it's a Sony property.
They're very directly competitive, but why not PC? Like, that's been a thing before. This was a first-party game at Sony for a long time, and that was who published it and owned it. It feels like it's at home on the Sony platforms right now. So, we said that Vita will be a stretch goal. We're really excited about that. And PS3 and PS4 will be a really natural fit with the controllers that we'll be playing with. And we can make sure we tailor the experience to the controllers. I know some people have been asking about the controllers. We are already aware of the differences between PS2 era controllers and PS3 and PS4 controllers. We're thinking about that. The team has a ton of thoughts. They're super nerdy about that stuff. So the question kind of comes down to why not PC? And the answer is right now, that's not in the development plan because it is a sort of de facto Sony exclusive. It has a lot to do with the history of how this project came to exist 14 years ago and how it is structured today in terms of the agreement. I never want to say never. It's not like it's impossible it could come out or change its name or something like that, but the current plan, the Kickstarter you're backing, the thing that we're promising you is for Sony platforms, and we'd rather be very open about that than say maybe PC, give us your money, and then disappoint you. If you're only backing because you want to see a PC version happen, it's not a stretch goal where it's just an amount of money question. We're still having active conversations about it, but it looks unlikely that we will be doing it with this version of the game. So I'm disappointed in that. I would love to have this on PC as well, but I think that PS4 is a great console and PS3 is an amazing console. So it's still going to be a fun, great game. It's going to look amazing, run at 60 frames a second. So,
well, and I think it's cool that people have that kind of enthusiasm for seeing Harmonix games on their platform of choice, and it's not a conversation that's new to us. It's a thing that we've heard throughout the course of Dance Central. It's a thing that we've heard.
Why are you Microsoft fanboys, guys?
During development for Disney Fantasia Music Evolved, and
why isn't Chroma on consoles?
I think we'll always work with the platform. That's too
Rough.
bad. I think that we'll always look at the platform that is most suited for the project at hand. And if there are other options that are available to us, we will most definitely explore other options.
Well, and so look, I guess again, what we're saying is emotionally, it's a totally valid thing to say I want this on want this on PC. I'm playing on PC and I want it on PC. I don't have a PS4. Totally.
I get it.
That is a reasonable thing to do. So we're by acknowledging that that's reasonable, we're hoping people can sort of tamp down the furiousness of it not being on PC.
We're not doing it to be console fanboys.
Right,
We're not doing it to be jerks.
And we love having console flags waving and people going to war and yelling at each other about what's the better system.
I don't love that.
I mean, I love that exists and it's a crazy thing that it can be fun to have that debate.
Yeah, people are passionate about the things they love.
That's great that you're excited about it, but if you can maybe tone down the rhetoric for us, where we're a third-party developer making a game that has a history of being on one platform, that's sort of what happened here. So stick it out with us, and if you really don't ever want to do PS3 or PS4 or Vita, if we hit our stretch goals, this might not be a thing that you want to back. And that's sad for us. We don't get money from you, but it's totally reasonable, right?
Yeah, that's fair. I'll allow it.
If you want to back it anyway,
people to not back it
and be generous, you totally can.
Yep. 3,200 backers so far.
Man,
which is pretty rad.
That's crazy humbling. I don't know how
this is working.
It's
the first
just
few
day
hours.
one. And again, Annette's playing the tutorial right now for the advanced levels of the game. Songs, licensed music in the game. We are planning on focus on an original soundtrack for Amplitude, which means Harmonix created stuff. Harmonix tailored music that's going to fit the gameplay perfectly. That has to do a lot with making sure the gameplay experience is the best that it can be, and it has a little bit to do with how complicated and expensive music licensing can be for licensed tracks. But it does mean that some of our lower stretch goals will be licensed music in the game, getting a certain number of tracks, and then seeking out your opinions about what kind of music you want. Obviously, dance music and electronic music has had a huge resurgence in the past 10 years. There's some great artists we could get in here, as well as heritage tracks from the Frequency and Amplitude era that we'd love to see again.
Get that POD back in the game.
Get that POD back in the game if that's what you guys want. So anyway, I want to make sure we throw that out there. People have asked about licensed music all day. It's a really great, reasonable question, but we basically we don't want to plan on something that we might not be able to do.
Yeah.
We'd rather plan humbly and then be able to commit new things as resources come online from expanding the base based on the Kickstarter
It works
level.
for me.
So that's where we are there.
I'm on board.
Will there be old songs? Maybe some. We're hoping to find those stems and remix them a little bit, make them polished for the next era. How do we get Dump Lord 420 as the final boss? We have to pester Ryan about that. Will there be a remix mode? Remix mode is something we're talking about, a way to re-envision for next-gen consoles, the way we have to rebuild this game for a next-gen engine and the way the audio streams work best. Might mean that a pure remix mode might not be possibly exactly the same way as it was in Amplitude, but we obviously love remix mode and we want to bring that experience back. So again, Kickstarter stretch goals coming soon. Maybe we will launch them even before we hit our funding level if it looks like we've got good velocity, but back the project, man. You want to know more about this stuff and you love Amplitude, we will get into the nitty-gritty details as we get funded closer and closer to our goal today. So
Annette is pretty much in heaven. I think that she would just play this game all day if left to her own devices.
We are basically $1,000 away from 100,000 from hitting six figures, and I'm so tempted just to like filibuster until we get there, but I won't because Joe and Pope need to go home.
Pope, you seen anything else good in the chat?
No, it's working on some new framing.
Working on some new goofs.
Yeah.
Okay, well, so those are just any other questions from the Q&A that we didn't cover that you can remember? Sorry, I know you're in the zone playing the same. You're wearing 2 microphones right now, by the way.
I forgot. Anyway, I'm super
Double-mic'd.
immersed right now. I think you've got most of them.
Okay,
So
that's great.
Yeah. I mean, like, we'll be updating the FAQ on the Kickstarter page as more questions come along.
And you can tweet at us at Amplitude, or sorry, at Harmonix, at Amplitude Game, and that's looking at that one. We're not really focusing on that. Mostly in the Kickstarter, if you back the game, we'll be in the comments in the backers forum there. And then like I'm also on Twitter at John T. Drake. I'm answering as many questions as I can, and just getting into it with people because we want to talk about it. So we want this to be an open experiment where we talk to you guys about making the game in real time. We want you to be involved. We want you to get cool stuff for the money you put towards the game. And most of all, we want to make a really great game that we've been wanting to make for years. But we need your help. So thank you guys so much for tuning in and watching us talk about this. We'll be streaming more and more and talking about the game.
Yeah, we've maybe got a podcast lined up,
Yeah.
and then some more content for future live streams.
Yep.
And we're trying to just be direct and honest and as straightforward as we can about this stuff. So, we appreciate you being patient and asking great questions and wanting to know more about why we're doing things the way we are.
Keep asking us questions.
Yeah, just if you can support the game, that's what we're looking for.
Yeah. We want this game too.
Make all the
Annette
games.
really just wants this game.
I want this game to do it
She
for me.
is just tired of playing the old Amplitude and just wants a new hotness.
She's tired of being the controller and she wants to hold a controller. She's been the
do.
controller for so
Let
many
me
generations.
sit down and demo games, please.
Annette wants a sit-down demo. That's all she really wants.
Anything that involves couches.
I think that
controllers.
might be the end
That's
of our
it.
stream. I think we may have filibustered the chat to exhaustion, or
Yes.
the chat has crashed and we can't see new updates.
Yes.
Could be both. So we're very close to $100,000. If you haven't gotten a chance, go to harmonixmusic.com/amplitude. It'll auto-forward you to the Kickstarter, or go to the Kickstarter link. It's like kickstarter.com/harmonix/project/amplitude, I believe.
/project/harmonix/amplitude.
But just like Google
Anyway,
Harmonix
Kickstarter,
into
you search,
Kickstarter.
go to the
It's posted
whatever. It's
right
fine. It's
in
right
the
here.
chat.
Look at that.
We'll
look
have it on all the Facebooks, like every game's Facebook will be posting it. Every game's Twitter will be posting it. The official Harmonix, Twitter and Facebook, our personal accounts. We are going to be relentless for the next 17 days.
And if you love Rock Band or Guitar Hero, or hopefully Frequency and Amplitude, if you love new games we've been making, it's likely that the DNA of those games was born out of Amplitude. So if you think you love music games and you haven't played Amplitude before, consider backing this game because you like what Harmonix does.
if you want to see us make more games like this.
Yeah. And I don't know what the number is right now, but we're going to commit to it in the next day or two. We'll put a number up on that Kickstarter page if we get funded pretty good. If we hit like a $25 million stretch goal, $25 million of funding,
You're still thinking about putting that up there?
we'll make Rock Band 4. You raise $25 million, I'll figure it out. I mean, that would be grossly overfunding Amplitude. We can't just make Amplitude with $25 million. I don't know what we
That is
do.
the John Drake promise. That is the word of a
my.
crazy person on this stream right now.
Hey, man. $25 million
promising you
US.
Rock Band 4.
Gross.
If we back this to $25 million.
I'm not saying how many platforms we'll make it for. I'm not saying how many instruments we'll make.
Half
Rock
an
Band
instrument.
4. Rock Band money confirmed. Someone just put in the tweet. That's totally reasonable, actually.
Rock Band dollars.
People are mostly responding like that's a joke, and I'm like, I'm semi-serious.
I fully expected to see the ticker just rolling up on the Kickstarter page.
Yeah, man,
as
come
soon
on,
as
get
you
in there right
said
now,
it.
Rock Band fans. Let's do this. Self-fund it. You got $25 million. Give me a call,
No,
son.
please give us money.
Wow.
All right, anyway, we're gonna wrap this up because we've been talking for like an hour and a half.
Amplitude,
All right, cool.
Kickstarter.
Thank you very much,
thank
guys.
You.
We really do appreciate you joining us. We'll be back next Monday for more information.
Maybe even sooner.
Maybe even sooner.
With some other
We'll see
games.
how it
And I want
goes.
to big ups to Abby for making those graphics.
Yep.
The team has been working on the chat. Jessa, Christine, Nick who stuck around. And most of all, of course, as always, Ryan was here, and then, of course, Joe on audio and Pope on all the video magic for making this happen on a giant CRT TV, which is a nightmare.
Yes, thanks for bringing that
We're
down.
just going
I
to
think
leave this here for the rest
massive.
of our lives.
And you guys are awesome for hanging out with us, so thanks for shooting the
thank
chat.
you.
We'll see you next week.